Need more time? Want more from your business and your life? Welcome to the Simple Life Habits Podcast, where you'll learn how to work less, do more, and live your life with greater focus. Now, here's your host, Jonathan Milligan.
Welcome to the Simple Life Habits Podcast. This is Jonathan, your host. Our goal here is to help you work less, do more, and live with greater focus. Well, as I'm recording this, we're just a few days into the new year, 2013, so I thought it would be appropriate for me to share with you my personal goal-setting workbook. And at the end of the podcast, I'm going to tell you how you can download this 12-page PDF that can help you to crush it in the new year. I noticed an interesting trend on my Facebook news feed that really kind of got me thinking about what I should record for this podcast, and actually even the blog post that I recently posted on simplelifehabits.com. And what the interesting trend is the frustrations and the rants about people who are already breaking their New Year's resolutions. And it's only been 4 days. And maybe that's where you are right now, is you had some time to think about some of the new goals, some of the things that you wanted to accomplish in the new year, things you wanted to change, new habits that you wanted to form. And here we're just a couple days into it, and you've already broken your promise with yourself. Well, first of all, let me be an encouragement to you that new habits take a little while to form. And just because you break it once or break it twice, or you go 4 days and break it, doesn't mean that you just give up, that it's an impossible climb. There's a lot of difficulty in the beginning, but once you get over the hill, once you get over the hump, things get a bit easier. You see, we often forget that changing habits is more than just a one-time decision. You know, I remember the first time I joined a gym. I was working downtown at the time, and I joined this new gym around, I think it was around August. And I made it actually a good routine of just going there every day during lunch. And it was great to break away from the office, to kind of get some physical activity in. And it just became a really good habit for me. But I wasn't prepared for the first week in January. You see, this gym was downtown, and it was right in the middle of all the hustle and bustle. And I was shocked at what happened on the first week in January. All the equipment that I was used to using, everything in that gym, that exercise gym, was being used. And suddenly, all the things that I wanted to get in a regular 1-hour workout session, I wasn't able to do half of it because the equipment was being used. And it's funny, I had a friend who had saw how frustrated I was. He came over and just calmly replied, "Hey, just give it a week." And sure enough, he was right. Within a week, everything was back to normal. The vast majority had already backed down on whatever commitment they made, and they just kind of got back into their normal routine. But my goal today is I want to share with you my personal goal-setting workbook that has helped me to keep my commitments. And it helped me to really double my productivity last year. And it was the first time I really used this process, and I'm using it again this year. And it's incredibly powerful. Before I do, I want to share with you just 4 goal-setting mistakes that we all make. So here they are. Write these down. Think about these as you're making your goals. Or if you've already broken your goals, maybe your problem exists in one of these mistakes. Mistake number 1. We have not written down our goals. It's so easy to underestimate the power of written goals and writing our goals down. It seems so simple. And we wonder what makes it so powerful. For me, writing down my goals is really only the first step, but it's an important first step. Once you have written them down, you have to place them somewhere where you're going to see them often. Maybe you could put it on your refrigerator, tape it to your bathroom mirror, write it on a whiteboard in your home office. See, by not writing down your goals, you're just giving yourself an easy out. There's no commitment if I have a New Year's resolution or a new habit or a new goal just kind of swirling around in my head. I haven't made a commitment. Once it's visual and other people can see it or I see it, suddenly my commitment goes to a new level. And the goal setting workbook that I'm going to share with you how you can download it in just a minute is going to help you to actually establish and write down your goals. So that's mistake number 1. Have you physically written down your goals somewhere? Here's mistake number 2. We have too many goals. See, another mistake we can make is to have too many goals. I've seen this happen a lot. We get so frustrated with the lack of progress in our life that all of a sudden we decide to set out and conquer the world by going after too many goals at once. Now, it's okay for you to have more than a few goals. Some people, maybe you just need to have one goal and just focus on that one goal. That's good. That can work too. But when we try to do it all at once, what can happen is it's too much to handle at once. It's better for you to establish just a few goals in the key areas of your life. So maybe the reason why you've already dropped off and you've stopped pursuing your New Year's resolutions is because you simply have way too many. You've totally tried to restructure your life in the matter of a day or two. Don't have too many goals. Focus, bring it down to just a few key goals, and go after those. Here's mistake number 3. We make our goals too big. Now, I'm all for having those big, hairy, audacious goals. You've probably heard of them. It's called the BHAG goals. Those are great. I've often heard, that you can shoot for the stars and maybe you'll land on the moon. Well, it's great to have big goals, and sure, big goals are inspiring, and you need to have goals that are big enough to inspire you. If the goals are too small and simple to accomplish, there's nothing there to stir you up and motivate you. But there is an in-between that I think is where we need to land. Have a big goal, but break that big goal down and get that big goal into more achievable outcomes. This is probably the most powerful thing I did this past year that really helped me to go after my goals in a big way and double my productivity. What I did was, if I had a big goal, I simply broke it down into a 90-day goal. You see, a smaller 90-day goal isn't so scary. See, what happens sometimes is we set these really big goals and then they frighten us, they scare us, they cause us to freeze up and we don't know what step to take. It's really fun to say, I want to be a New York Times best-selling author. That sounds inspiring and exciting. But what do I do today with that? I have to break it down. I have to start by actually developing an outline to my book. So what I do is simply set a 90-day goal to say, develop an outline for the book that you want to write. So you have to learn to really take these big goals that you have in life and break them down into smaller 90-day goals. Now, one way I actually do that, and it's actually listed for you in the Goal Crushing Workbook that I am going to share with you, is I simply work and design my life in 90-day sections. This is real simple and easy to do. For example, my first quarter is January through March. So I have an April 1st deadline. In fact, I'm looking at my whiteboard right now that has the goals I want to accomplish by April the 1st. That helps me to get laser targeted on what it is I want to do. You see, if I have annual goals, that's great, but again, it's too big. I've got to work them down into 90-day chunks of time. So I've got a few simple 90-day goals that I'm focused on to get them done by April the 1st. That's quarter number 1. Quarter number 2 is April through June, which is a July 1st deadline. And that's the second quarter. So I'm going to evaluate at the end of March and see how did I do? What goals did I accomplish? What goals did I not accomplish? Which ones do I want to carry over into the second 90-day set of goals? And which new ones do I want to add that I want to accomplish by July the 1st? And then the third quarter is July through September, which is an October 1st deadline. And then the last one is October through December, which is a January 1st deadline. So if that was hard to capture all that, it's all listed in the workbook, and I show you actually a picture of my whiteboard with my goals on it, and actually show you the 90-day quarter goals and the deadlines for each. But the thing to remember here is you have to break your goals down. Your mistake might be that you've just made your goal way too big. Here's mistake number 4. We are not specific enough with our goals. We're not specific enough with our goals. This is probably the biggest mistake with New Year's resolutions. Because what do we say? I want to lose weight. Or my goal is this year I'm going to get in shape. But see, that's not inspiring and it's not very specific. Instead, shoot for something very specific. Like I want to run a half marathon within the next 6 months. So my deadline's July, and my goal is to run a half marathon. So now I can work backwards and decide all the little steps that I need to accomplish to get there in 6 months. Are your goals that specific? Are your New Year's resolutions that specific? Are the new habits you want to form that specific? Break them down and get specific. So again, let's just recap. Have you written your goals down? If not, you need to do that. And you can start by downloading my workbook. Number 2, do you have too many goals? Do you have way too many things you're trying to change and do all at once? Then you need to shorten your goal list. 3, are your goals too big? Are they so big that it would take you 3 years to accomplish it as it is? Break them down into a 90-day smaller goal that gets you closer to the big goal. And number 4, how specific are your goals? Do you just have general resolutions like get in shape, lose weight? Or do you have a very specifically defined goal? All right, let's talk about this workbook that I've put together. It's a 12-page workbook, and essentially there's only 3 simple steps. I call it the Simple Life Habits Goal Crushing Workbook. And in it, you're going to find a 12-page PDF workbook that you can download, and I'm going to walk you through the exact steps I took last year to double my online business and my productivity. Now, you're going to find that the process is simple, but don't overlook the simplicity because the process is very powerful. In fact, I would challenge you to dedicate to this process for the next 90 days and see if your productivity doesn't double. Because for me, I was able to accomplish quite a bit when I look back over my year. And it all came down to the fact that I had specific 90-day goals for each quarter of the year. I was able to write a best-selling Amazon Kindle book. I created the 30-day Get Productive course for simplelifehabits.com. I also created a 30-day job search challenge online course for my career coaching blog. I designed a Kindle Your Passion course that walked aspiring authors through the process of earning passive money on the Amazon Kindle. I also co-created 2 online blogging tutorial courses called Blogging Your Passion University, which you can find over at bloggingyourpassion.com. On top of that, I wrote 3 or more posts every week for 3 different blogs and went on several different vacations with my family. Now, the point I'm trying to make is that this stuff works. I'm not anything special. I'm not different than you. I just took time to develop a game plan and get specific on goals that help me to focus. So by downloading the workbook, it's going to help you to walk through these specific steps. Now, I'm not going to go into every specific step because you can download it and walk through it yourself. I explain it in the workbook. But let me just tell you how you can get it. Just simply go to simplelifehabits.com/goals. Again, that's simplelifehabits.com/goals. There's no opt-in, there's no email sign up. That will take you directly to a PDF you can print off. It's 12 pages long, and it will give you the specific details on exactly how I set goals and accomplish them. So if you want to get a good start to this year and you want to avoid those mistakes I talked about earlier, then you need to walk through this 3-step process. The last thing I want to talk about today is a really awesome program that I was introduced to about a month ago, and it's called Kickstart the Year. It's not my specific program, but it's definitely one that I want to recommend. And basically, 10 of the top experts in different core key areas of life brought their best stuff together and put it all into one program that you can download. Here's some of the topics that are covered. If you want to get in shape, if you want to start a business, maybe your goal is to get more organized, if you want to be more productive, if you are an aspiring author and you want to write a book or build better relationships, get out of debt, or move closer to your dreams, then you will benefit from this program. There's several key experts that I value pretty highly that have put together this program. People like Chris Brogan, Jeff Goins, Craig Jarrow, who's great about time management organization, and Jonathan Mead, who is very good at helping you move from work that you're doing to work that you love and online business, and several other key authors and bloggers out there as well. But you can take a look at this program, and maybe this is just kind of the tools that you need. And you can get to that by going to simplelifehabits.com/kickstart. Again, that is simplelifehabits.com/kickstart. The bottom line is I want to encourage you to get going on this year. Even if you are feeling like your year didn't start off the way that you wanted, then start it today. Print off the workbook, walk through those steps, decide on what specific goals you want to accomplish between now and the next 90 days, and get started. All right, that's it for this podcast. Appreciate all those that have faithfully listened. We had a record downloads last month in December. Appreciate the kind emails, and also take a minute and rate us on iTunes so we can share the workbook and this content with other people so they can get their year going as well. So until the next podcast, we'll see you then.